The media task force helped to disseminate information to the people, especially the vernacular radio stations. They could give information. They urged the people to go and take voter cards, which really helped improve the numbers that registered for voting. We also had trainings on conflict-sensitive reporting, and the task force really used this information to help avert violence in the community.
In 2012 we were approaching the election period, so it was mentioned to us that there is this initiative that will help at least promote conflict-sensitive journalism that is under the Towards Peaceful Election. If we may go back to the year 2007, the situation that everybody knows around Kenya, we had the conflict, the post-election violence, and unfortunately, the media was really condemned. It was claimed that the media, in a way, contributed to the chaos that was witnessed in Kenya around 2007-2008, and that media reports might have contributed to the situation then. And it's very unfortunate that at the moment, as we are speaking, a journalist is amongst the suspects who are before the International Criminal Court facing charges with regard to the chaos in the year 2007-2008. Out of the bigger media gathering or the media family in Kisumu, this is from the print, electronic, both. We have the 60. Out of the 68 members who are selected, this is cutting across. We have members from print, we have members from radio, we have even some bloggers who are also media guys, and maybe TV is also represented in the team of 8. And once we meet, there is also a representative from the team of 8 who represents the media in the larger multi-sectoral team, where we send, particularly the chairman. The chairman represents now the entire media fraternity from 60 to 8. Now 1 goes to the bigger, as a representative to the bigger community. So this one will attend meetings and pass our resolutions or our suggestions to the bigger group of religious leaders, the estate representatives, the youths, and now through that, media is now represented in the entire community, and yeah, that's how the structure flows. Yeah, during the many trainings we had around Kisumu, outside Kisumu, and in many areas, particularly the issue of media policy, media house styles, was really mentioned by a number of reporters down on the ground. Here is a reporter who maybe will mind the language, the reporter who wants to be conflict sensitive. But there's an editor in Nairobi who knows that Kisumu, we are only expecting a story on chaos in Kisumu. So to many journalists on the ground and to many correspondents, they mentioned it as a key challenge. And under the project, I'll mention that mostly those who were trained were the field reporters, the on-air broadcasters, the regional correspondents. But I don't think there has been a proper training even for editors, our editors in Nairobi or at the headquarters, and even not only the editors, the media owners. We are told that there's always conflict of interest in our media houses. Yes, it is true. There is that preference of the editor, there's that preference of the media owner, that the owner will want to see this about Kisumu, or this about Nakuru, this about Eldoret. So this correspondent on the ground will try the best to include the conflict-sensitive journalism. But when it goes up, the bosses, the media owners and the editors will want to include whatever they prefer or whatever they think should be included to make the story look more of a Kisumu story. So it is actually a challenge towards journalists. But I think with the numbers, maybe the correspondents are always the majority in a media house. So the remaining few bosses in Nairobi need also to be considered towards also that they know also peace or those sensitive stories are also stories that should be carried in the newspapers. We have those people down in the villages who have mobile phones, and using this such kind of a gadget, I can take a photo. Within 1 minute, I upload it and I share it, be it on Twitter, be it on Flickr, be it on Facebook. So, as a journalist, I might have done a good story, a conflict-sensitive story about Kisumu or a situation in Kisumu. But there's this untrained resident of Kisumu or untrained citizen of Kisumu who will put it bare. If it's killing, without minding to get more details or anything, the story will go as it is. So to us, under the being conflict sensitive also, at times we are accused that we are hiding a lot. But I don't think it's hiding a lot. We are only doing the necessary information. If I say that community A is fighting with community B and community A has killed like 5 in community B, actually what I'll be, through my media, be it radio, TV or newspaper, I'll be telling community B, your guys have been killed, go back and revenge. So is it necessary? Is it necessary information? I can say, yeah, there is fighting in area A or area X without mentioning that X, A or B killed this number in. Then I will have helped. It will be easier instead of carrying stories that might trigger further conflict. At least for Kisumu, we'll say it's somehow a success, because compared to 2007, 2013, yes, we had situations around, but the quality of reporting, even if you look at the language of reporting, the stories that were aired, that aspect of proper research, proper understanding of a situation. You know, you can run a story without understanding a background, and when it comes out later, you'll realize that it is a fake. If it's a conflict story, you'll realize that it's fake. So to most journalists around, most I've spoken to, not only in Kisumu, this aspect of doing proper research is coming out, and I think it should be encouraged. Conflict-sensitive journalism, I'll say, has changed me a lot, and I think the same thing will be said with my colleagues, that it has helped change me. Because before carrying a story, the first question that comes to me is it necessary at this time? Maybe if it's a conflict story, this is conflict-sensitive journalism. If it's a conflict story, how do I carry it? How do I first understand it? So this training has actually changed me, because I first analyze a situation. I first take time to understand that where did it originate, and through understanding that, maybe I might be carrying, maybe it's normal that we receive media briefings, media statements. So if I understand a situation, even if I'm given a press statement, I can say this is not the true situation, and I will not carry it. Because through such training, I take time to understand the cause, and if it is maybe a valid statement to go to the air or to go on air, I ensure that it's packaged properly. Speaking of conflict-sensitive journalism, I don't see it as a short-term initiative or a short-term project. This is a culture that is coming into the media fraternity in Kisumu. So that it's like the culture that you are brought up with, because we are growing in the profession. We will wish that it continues with us, not only during conflict-sensitive journalism. We want it to be a practice at any time, whenever we are informing members of the public, Yeah, to the members of the task force, we want it to continue, not only during the election time. Yeah, we know the election is over, the nominations are over, but the society is with us here, and whenever there is two or more people, there is always conflict, be it positive or negative. So it is not only for election, it is part of us. So conflict sensitive journalism, we trust as members of the Kisumu Media Task Force, we will want it to continue, even to those who are coming into the media industry, because always a company will recruit yearly or frequently. So we want to continue. Those who have been trained, always we tell them, we encourage them as members, kindly inform so and so that there is this way. And luckily enough, some of us within the task force are trained as trainers. The way conflict-sensitive journalism is being promoted currently, it is being done by maybe civil society. It's not done as part of the bigger journalist training. I would suggest that if possible, these actors who are currently promoting the conflict-sensitive journalism can get in touch with the journalism training schools or even the relevant government authorities to ensure that this CSJ package is properly put, then introduced into various training institutions. I in person, as Odera Wycliffe, journalist in Kisumu, and on behalf of the Media Task Force in Kisumu, I will sincerely wish to thank LCPI for this good initiative. It was so helpful. Also, I won't forget the same message to Safer World as the sponsors and all those who made this a success. I will really thank them, and it's my sincere message that let's keep it, let's maintain it, we need to roll it, and I know with time it will be part of the society. It's a culture that we are bringing in slowly, and I know if we continue, if we keep the momentum, soon journalists are just few, but only through a strike of a pen we can make a situation worse, or we can also these days we make it good.